The first shift. I got the job through an online ad. Night security at the Riverside Mall, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 6 nights a week. Pay was decent for a student and I figured it'd be easy. Sit in a small office, monitor the cameras, walk around once in a while. Simple. I wish I had read the fine print. The mall looked normal during the day. Bright lights, shoppers, music blaring, the smell of pretzels and perfume. But at night it was different. Almost empty, like the place itself was holding its breath. The first night I arrived at 10:45 p.m. My uniform fit snug, the flashlight in my belt, the radio in my pocket. The security office was on the second floor overlooking the food court. The walls were lined with monitors showing every hallway, every storefront, every parking lot entrance. I started the shift thinking it'd be boring. The first hour was exactly that, quiet, too quiet. I made my rounds. The elevator shafts were silent. The kiosks looked like abandoned dioramas. Mannequins in the clothing stores stared at me like frozen witnesses, but I laughed it off. Then at 12:17 a.m., I noticed store 14 Fashion House. A mannequin in the window had changed position. I froze. It had been facing forward when I left, arms slightly bent, head tilted just a bit to the left. Now its head was turned almost fully to the right, facing the hallway. Its arms were raised higher, almost as if it was reaching for someone. I blinked. The cameras didn't show it moving. I pulled out my flashlight, heart hammering, and shined it across the display. Nothing. The mannequin hadn't moved. I laughed nervously. Okay, I'm losing it, I muttered to myself. By 1:02 a.m., the first weird sound appeared. A soft scraping, like nails over tile, echoing faintly in the corridors. It came from the northwest wing, where the mall had been closed for renovations months ago. I grabbed my radio and called my coworker Peter. "Hey, you hear anything weird?" I whispered. Static, then, "Nah dude, stop imagining things." I shook my head, told myself he was right. By 2 a.m., I realized something was following me. The first encounter. I was patrolling the main corridor near the north wing, flashlight in hand. I knew the wing was supposed to be closed and locked, but when I reached the door, I saw a faint light flickering underneath. I froze. The light was not from any maintenance lamp I knew. No electrical work was scheduled. No crew inside. I radioed Peter. "Hey, you need to come check the northwest wing. Something on." Static, then silence. I tried the door handle. Locked, but the light flickered as if responding to me. Then I heard a voice, low, almost a hiss, coming from the darkness inside. "Don't leave, stay." My blood ran cold. I shined my flashlight into the hall, empty. Just walls, tiles, abandoned displays. Then the scraping sound again, slow, deliberate, coming from just behind me. I spun around, no one, nothing. By 3 a.m., the mall's cameras began acting strange. Monitors flickered. Hallways on the screen stretched unnaturally, like the angles were wrong. Some feeds went black entirely, then returned, showing what appeared to be shadows moving where no person should be. I wanted to call the police, but I hesitated. What would I say? Hello, someone is in the empty mall at night, maybe. Locked in. At 4:30 a.m., I went to the security office to grab coffee and check emails. That's when the doors slammed shut. Not the main entrance, not the automatic sliding doors. Every internal door leading out of the mall was locked. No key, no code, nothing could open them. My radio wouldn't work, static everywhere. I was trapped. I tried my cell phone, no signal, nothing. That's when I heard the footsteps. Slow, dragging, deliberate, from the food court. I grabbed my flashlight and crept toward the sound. It stopped when I entered the central atrium. Nothing, just the fountains, dry and silent. Then I saw it, a shadowy figure, tall, thin, standing on the balcony overlooking the food court. No face, Just blackness where a face should be. I froze. It stepped closer, floating slightly, gliding. My heart felt like it would explode. Then it vanished. I swear, vanished. The basement. By 5:15 a.m. I was desperate. I had to get out. That's when I remembered the maintenance tunnels in the basement. Staff always said they were off limits. I didn't care anymore. I found a service stairwell and descended. It smelled of damp concrete and rust. I heard dripping water but nothing else until the whispers started. Soft, almost human. "You can't leave, you can't leave." I followed the narrow tunnel, flashlight barely illuminating the pipes. Then the scraping again, closer, all around me. I could see shadows moving along the walls but nothing I could identify. Then a cold hand grabbed my shoulder. I spun around, nothing. I ran, my flashlight caught something crouched in the corner. Its eyes were white, glowing faintly, too tall to be human. Its arms were unnaturally long. I ran past it. The tunnel seemed endless. I didn't stop until I found a door leading to the old loading docks. Alone. By 6:00 a.m., I was back in the main corridor, but the mall felt alive. Every mannequin's head turned toward me as I passed. I could hear whispers, soft hissing, and dragging footsteps following me through empty hallways. The final corridor to the exit, the west side, was blocked. A figure stood there, tall, thin, featureless, its arms stretched past its knees. I ran into a storage closet. I stayed there until 7:00 a.m. until the first employees arrived. When the doors unlocked, the figure disappeared, just gone. The employees thought I was exaggerating. They thought I had hallucinated. But the mall cameras, the ones I reviewed later, showed myself walking the halls alone. But my shadow was being dragged by someone else. And on the last frame before the morning shift, a figure stood behind me, watching, waiting, smiling. The return. I tried to avoid the mall for a week after that first night. I told myself I would quit, find another job, anything to escape what had happened. But bills pile up and my roommate kept insisting I needed the money. Eventually, I caved. The second night back, I swore I would stay in the security office and do nothing else. Just monitor the cameras, stay put, and keep my head down. I should have quit before the first hour ended. The whispers begin. By 11:45 p.m., the cameras started flickering. It was subtle at first, a brief white static across a hallway feed. I ignored it. But then I noticed it. The mannequins in the clothing stores were all turned toward the cameras, even the ones I had already checked and confirmed facing forward. The whispers started around 12:30 a.m., soft, hissing, almost incoherent. They weren't coming from the speakers, they were in my head. "You can't leave, stay." I turned around, flashlight ready, but no one was there. My stomach knotted. I felt eyes on me, millions of invisible eyes all watching. I told myself it was paranoia, but the next hour confirmed it was real. The figures in the dark. Around 1:45 a.m. I made my first round. I walked down the north wing, flashlight in hand. That's when I saw them at the far end of the hall, shadow figures, thin, unnaturally tall, floating a few inches above the floor. No face, no distinguishable features, just black shapes. When they moved, the mannequins along the corridor mirrored them. Their heads turned as they passed, their arms raised in unison. My heartbeat pounded so hard I felt like I was going to collapse. I radioed Peter, my coworker, again, static, then a whisper. "We see you." I dropped the radio. My flashlight flickered, and I realized somewhere behind me someone or something was running the hallways faster than any human could. Trapped. By 3:00 a.m. I tried to leave. Every exit was locked. Doors that should have been accessible were sealed. Windows wouldn't open. My phone had no signal. The figures were closer now. I could hear scraping along the walls, the soft whispering following me. "You can't leave." I ran to the maintenance stairs, hopping to find a route to the basement. The stairwell smelled of damp concrete and mold. I turned on my flashlight and froze. The shadows were everywhere. Some crouched in corners. Others pressed against walls, moving unnaturally fast, only glimpsed in the light. I heard a loud bang behind me. Something had slammed the office door I had left earlier. Then the whispers turned into voices. Multiple people, overlapping, hissing, screaming softly. "Stay, don't look back, we're hungry." The basement. I found the basement tunnel leading to the loading docks. It was narrow and the lights flickered weakly, but it was my only option. As I moved through, I saw markings on the walls, scratches, symbols that looked like tally marks, drawn with some kind of dark substance. They weren't fresh, but some glowed faintly, as if illuminated by some unseen light. Then I saw the first of them closer than ever. One of the figures had an almost human shape, but its arms stretched past its knees, its head twisted unnaturally to one side. The eyes, empty, glowing faintly white, locked on me. It spoke in a voice that didn't belong to a human. "You were warned." I ran. My flashlight barely lit the path ahead. Every sound echoed: footsteps, whispers, scratching. Sometimes behind me, sometimes ahead, always unpredictable. The confrontation. By 5:30 a.m. I reached the loading dock. The doors should have led outside, but when I tried to open them, something pushed back. Heavy, impossible. I could feel the pressure in my chest, as though someone or something was holding the doors shut with sheer force. The shadows emerged from the corners. Hundreds of them, all tall, all thin, all featureless. They hovered, they didn't walk, they glided. One came closer, stopping inches from my face. Its eyes, solid white, no pupils, stared into me. I swear I could hear my own heartbeat in its gaze. "You belong here." I backed away, tripping over a stack of boxes. My flashlight fell and flickered, giving me glimpses of movement everywhere. The shadows were surrounding me. I screamed. Then something new, a figure with a face. Pale skin stretched unnaturally tight over skull-like features. Its mouth opened in a silent scream. Its long fingers reached toward me. I ran into a small utility closet, slammed the door, and locked it. My flashlight bounced against the walls. The shadows pressed against the door, making the metal groan as though the closet itself might collapse. By 6:15 a.m., the first employees arrived for the morning shift. Somehow, the shadows receded, slipping into walls, ceilings, the floors. I stumbled outside, breathing like I'd run a marathon. My uniform was torn, my flashlight broken, my hands cut from scraping walls. The mall looked normal now. Bright lights, people talking, music playing, cafeteria smells, nothing out of the ordinary. I quit that day. But sometimes, at night when I'm home, I hear faint whispers in the walls. A scraping sound, soft and deliberate, and a shadow moves past the corner of my eye. Because they never leave. And I know deep down I'll see them again. Even in the light, even in the day. They watch,